What's going on, everybody? Jason back in the basement. I wanted to do a quick video to give you my long-term review of the Viltrox 28mm lens. This is what they call the chip lens. Got this for Fujifilm X mount, and I know they recently released it for Nikon, I believe. So 28mm full frame, pretty interesting. On APS-C, this is more like 41, 42, which is normal-ish, which I like as well. But I've been using this for about 2 months now and really been, locking it in on my XT10 because I feel like this is what you buy this kind of lens for. You want it to be something super compact that's going on a very, very small body to really have it something I can take with me every single day with no restriction. Now, I also do own the Fuji 27mm 2.8, which is also a very good lens. It's small, has, the 2.8, which, rivals this 4.5, obviously. And this is fixed at 4.5, so you can't change it. 27, obviously you can change it up to f16, I believe. And so that is a better lens. It's not a competition, right? It's not about competing. It's about giving you an alternative. It's about giving you something that is fun and less stuffy, right? Like you're not expecting much from it. And I think a lot of lenses like that, right? Some lenses are made to use for pro work. Some are made to experiment and have fun with. And this is the one to have fun with, right? It's a fun lens. Now, when I think about this, I think about it in terms of just exploring point and shoot photography. We've all been in this kind of like, if you're a semi-pro like me, you've got, bodies and lenses that you use for certain things, and you got portraits, you got your weddings, you got events, product photography, whatever. You got stuff for that. But when it comes to everyday family shooting, you've got to think about why you're shooting in the first place. And does it always have to be completely critically sharp and all these other things? We have to lean, with a lens like this, you have to lean more into composition and framing and not so much on trying to get technical things right. Because it's at 4.5 anyway and it's stuck there, you're going to be using a lot of your other, your shutter speed and your ISO to manage your exposure in most situations. And I think if you treat this as an outdoor lens, which you should, right? It's made to take outdoors because it's small and it has a fixed aperture that isn't very fast. If you're in bright daylight, you're going to be fine. If you happen to get in a dark situation, you're indoors, you're gonna have to embrace flash. And I think this is where some people are gonna make their decision. They're gonna make their decision on the aperture alone. Secondarily, they're gonna make their decision on not being able to manually focus. There is no manual focus on this camera. There's no focus, manual focus ring on it. So the only way you could get around that is to do some back button focusing, which in the Fuji world is coupled to the manual focus mode. So you can get away with it in that regard. And I found that with flash, a lower shutter speed to get the let the camera see what it needs to see enough to focus, and then embracing the flash, you're gonna be able to get a shot, when you need it. You could also embrace higher ISOs. That's another, aspect of the photography that we're blessed with in the digital world, is because we don't have to have, high ISO as not being so much of an issue. Within reason, you can get a good, reasonable shot, especially if it's just for your personal use, and at high ISOs. I shoot all the way up to 6400 personally, with no problem. Ideally, I like to be at 1600 if I want a clean shot, and I will embrace the ISO. So that's what I do. I'll have my auto ISO at 1600, and then I'll embrace the flash and have a shutter speed somewhere in that 1/30th of a second. And if I'm using flash, the flash is going to freeze my subject if there is some sort of motion, and you'll get a good party-like shot. So that's what I think this lens shines at, is just kind of making your camera, whatever kind of camera you have, a point and shoot. I've learned to embrace flash more so in the last couple of months doing instant photography, because those lenses on those cameras are pretty slow. They're going to be f8, at best. And, there are some that are faster, but they're never going to be 2.8 instant cameras. And so you're going to have to embrace flash if you're indoors. So to me, because I'm trained myself to be in that mindset, embracing flash, this doesn't bother me at all. And to be frank with you, when I'm shooting an event for a paid client, a lot of times I like to be at f4 at a wide angle and use the flash to really dial in everything and not have to worry about trying to focus so much. You know what I mean? Wide angle, f4, use the flash, get that party look, and everything looks great to me. Clients are happy. Obviously you're outdoors and you want bokeh and all that stuff. This is not the lens for that. Although you can get a decent portrait with it compositionally, but if you're a bokeh freak, this ain't the lens for you, right? You buy this for something else. So enough of that. What do I say about this lens? What's my final verdict? My final verdict is that this is a long-term keeper. I'm going to keep this in my arsenal for foreseeable future. That may change, but I like it as a body cap. I like it as a everyday carry, outdoors, super compact. It feels like nothing is on the camera for a body such as this XT10, this old body. And so this is perfect for me. I will still couple this with my Pancake twins, the 18mm f2 and the 27mm 2.8. Those are going to be still my preferred, do-it-all Pancake, fast lenses. But this is good for just some, street everyday fun. So I give it a thumbs up. So that's all I got. Hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have it? Do you want one? Are you interested and curious? Talk to you in the next one. Peace.